The next item of the agenda is to authorize the administrator to engage the services of HKT Energy Group LLC to develop a strategic energy plan for Havenside Mall not to exceed $109,375. Mr. Nibbs, you want to make a presentation?
Um,
Make your case?
well, the investment committee met, and usually the investment committee would come out and report to the full board. So I'm assuming that the investment committee wants to go forward with this. This is a project that we solicited. Well, for initially we had solicited WAPA to assist us, and WAPA said that they didn't have the expertise at that time to do so. So we reached out to former WAPA employees who now have a consultant company and who has the knowledge of the Havenside Mall. They presented to the Havenside Mall Oversight Committee, I think twice, and they presented to the investment committee last week. What it is to develop an overall energy generation at the mall. Presently, we are relying on a 20-year, 25-year-old generator, which is not our property. The generator that is our property is no longer in service. The generator that we're relying on works only 30 or 20 minutes every time water goes down. So this company is supposed to give us a roadmap towards maybe coming up with a microgrid so that Havenside would be self-sufficient and wouldn't have to rely on water. That is the end goal, moving from the generators to solar and batteries. That's the project that was submitted to us. They have submitted a not to exceed of 109,375, which the oversight committee didn't have any problem with. We submitted it to the investment committee. I didn't hear any response to that, so we are asking for the board to authorize administration to engage with them, come up with we'll have to do a contract and then be able to let them proceed on the project. There was a very impressive presentation. I didn't hear any type of opposition to what we're trying to achieve. And if we are thinking about a planned development that we have considered, we need to have this type of energy and generation. It's very embarrassing when water goes down. The tenants call in all the time because we don't have any control over that generator. So we need to have our own power generation at that mall.
And this is a plan also that includes a proposal that includes planning for optimizing the cost of doing that. In other words, I mean, we were planning in any case to replace the generators. And
that is one recommendation. They are going to submit an RFP. I think what they said the last time is that we don't need 2 generators. We may need only 1. And then we would also have the solar and the batteries as augmenting the 1 generator.
Right. We should lower the cost of operation.
Correct.
And the funding source, could that be included as part of the funding for, I mean, we have both FEMA and insurance funds available for remediation of the damage done by the hurricanes, right?
Yes,
And could this be included as part of that overall plan,
I'm
funding?
not too sure. I'll have to rely on Miss Gums, but maybe the insurance monies. But Miss Gums, could you respond to that?
Good morning. For the generating of power specifically for Haven Site Mall, no, we don't have specific FEMA funds for that. Insurance proceeds could be used for that.
Okay. All right, and I think what for me personally, that I like the idea of the strategic approach as opposed to just putting back the two generators. What they're proposing is an overall plan for the mall with a mix of solar, oil, and controlled by a central grid that would optimize the dispatch. And that would be very the reliance or the reliability of our backup power would be an important consideration given the development that we're talking about for the mall itself. So I for one, I'm in favor of it, of the contract. Listen to the other board members.
I like the idea of us getting our own generating power unit, but I'm not sure. I need to review the tape, Zoom tape of the presentation. And since this is on such an important function, I would abstain from voting because I don't know enough information. But I generally support the general concept, Mr. Bowery, of moving away from WAPA and having a hybrid system, which is what you're suggesting, to generate our own power. But I would need to look at that Zoom meeting that the presentation was made, and I haven't had the opportunity to do that. So in this matter, I would abstain and bring myself up to speed with the presentation and look at other options that might more include renewable energy than generators, because I think we need to be moving toward that. And we could be a leader in the territory with renewable energy if we incorporate it. So, you know, my point of view on that, I needed to let the other board of trustees know that I have to abstain on it and bring myself up to speed. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, sure. I mean, and that's precisely what they're recommending, that instead of just putting back two generators, that we look over a mix of renewables and other forms of energy that will make the system more robust and more resilient. So, and understand that this proposal is for planning, technical assistance and oversight of the project. This obviously this is not this is nowhere near the cost of the project. So, and any other
Yeah, pointed trustee Dorsey. Chair, I thought that when we had the discussions with the the hotel proposal.
This is
Well-
regular session.
Oh, okay, okay. I forget. Sorry about that, Mr. Nibbs. Sorry about that. Okay, in terms of the process, Mr. Nibbs, this went out to bid, and we had 3 people who bidded on it.
So Dorsey, no, you're a member of the Oversight Committee. And we've reached out to WAPA, which you have always been a proponent of asking of other government agencies to assist us. We reached out to WAPA. And WAPA said that they didn't have the expertise in-house. And we knew individuals who, were executives of WAPA or directly involved in this type of thing. And we reached out to them and asked them, how could they help us? And that's how it started. You must remember that all they're doing is they're going to be our owner's rep. They're going to send out RFP for bids. They're going to review the bids for us, and then they come back to us and tell us what's best. All they're doing is a study, a roadmap, telling us I think you should be doing at this time. Initially, we were only concentrating on replacement of equipment, which was 2 generators. And they came back and they said, no, you need to get into solar. We did discuss solar before, but we needed an urgent fix. And because as you know, we were talking about selling and all of that stuff. So no, I didn't go out and get any other bids, so 3 bids. Again, it's a professional service contract. And that's the exemption that was used.
I think, if I may, Chairman Bowie's question was, I think, significant as to where the monies could come from other than the GRS and, hurricane recovery money, COVID money. However, we could get the money so that we don't tax the membership in any way or the system. So maybe Ms. Clendenin, based on what you know right now, where is the money coming from and what access do we have to other monies?
Good morning again. This is Clendenin. As an autonomous agency, the money that the central government and the Water and Power Authority has access through HUD and the Virgin Islands Finance Housing Authority, we don't at this time. None of the PWs, the 13 PWs we had, included damage because of the storms to our power grid. It's something I could do research on for the replacement, but the consultant, the expertise that's needed in order to lead that project on behalf of the system would still come from the system's coffers. The project itself, the money for the project itself, I could do the research to find out how we, could tap into resources like that.
I think that's a significant question, Mr. Bory, and you asked that question, and we have to explore all options because the federal dollars is coming in for the various projects, and power is also, an important consideration. So, I want to have an exploration of that done post haste because
we want to explore funding for the project itself, or for this is the planning for the project. This is not the project. We want into the millions of dollars, and as indicated by Mr. Nibbs, or somebody indicated, it could be funded out of the insurance proceeds that we got from the storm damage. So it's not coming out of GRS regular operating funds. it's an acceptable expenditure of insurance proceeds. And you know, as I say again, in terms of seeking FEMA funding, to follow up on you, to follow up on your argument, Mr. Trustee Russell, I would see seeking FEMA funding for the big project, for the project itself. As opposed, this is not, this is planning for the project. That's what this is about.
Also, Attorney Russell, this is Attorney Smith. During the meeting with HKT, we did discuss with them the option of looking for grants. There are several agencies that may provide grants for us, and they are willing to assist us with looking for grants to pay for the infrastructure of the new system, the microgrid.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bowery, and thank you, Attorney Smith. I still have additional questions because I didn't participate in the the vetting of that group, and but I think we're on the right track if we're thinking about hybrid power. So thank you for the explanations.
So I have another question, just to follow up with Mr. Nibbs and the chair and legal counsel for the board. We need to go out at this point to get additional bids, as was just mentioned in our executive session for that other situation, so that we could just be prudent with the monies that we're looking to spend, either directly or indirectly, directly from the system or from the insurance proceeds. We need to go out to get bids on this. So if there's been a change in the scope and how we approach the outcome, then that needs to be part of it so that it can be fair to those who recently might have bid it or didn't get a chance to bid, so that we can get the best bang for our buck on this operation. So I'm basically asking that before we vote on today agenda item, I think the prudent thing to do is to have three individuals look at this minimum the same way.
I agree with Mr. Dorsey in concept, because any project that we spend money, regardless of whether it's insurance or federal dollars or anything, I think when we open it up to the bidding process, no one can challenge the process we use to spend any money that we spend. So I would agree with that. Although I'm not going to vote, I would agree with the concept, okay?
Okay, Chair, my motion at this point is that we open this up to the bidding process to add the additional 2 other minimum bids, that we have a total of 3 bids for this part of the process. That's my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I would second his motion.
Okay. We have a motion and it's been seconded. So roll call.
Trustee Colwood,
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey,
Yes.
Trustee Liger, absent. Trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Russell,
Yes.
Trustee Smith, absent. Chairman Barry,
Yes.
4 yes, 3 absent.
Point of information, Chair.
Go ahead.
This is to legal counsel. Do we have any legal issues if we were to go forward with that group? Will we had any legal issues?
It's a legal issue.
If that is directed at me, Trustee Dorsey, I'm not sure what you mean by legal issues. You may want to elaborate.
Well, one of the principles of that group was with the, was under some type of scrutiny as related to this whole business. One of the principles. So I just wanted to know how that would work. Do we do our due diligence on the principles when we look at these companies from your standpoint? Do you do it, or does the GRS Council look at the principles? Who looks at the principles? They check the background checks.
Okay. I haven't done it. I don't normally do that. That would be the responsibility of the system and or the investment committee. If that's something that they wanted to look at. I'm not aware, at least I haven't seen anything in terms of issues with the principle that you just mentioned. So, so somebody would have to provide me with that information and I can take a look at it, but I'm not sure what.
Well, let me ask you this, counsel. Let me ask you this. Do we have anything in the policy that address issues of individuals doing business with the GRS? Is there anything in the policies, or do you refer that to the central government policies as relates to due diligence?
I know generally when we do due diligence that one would have to take a look at the principles, i.e. identify who they are, see if they have any conflicts, look at their background in terms of their experience and their ability to fulfill the project that they're proposing to the system. Again, unless you're talking about something specific that you wanted to look at, but I think how extensive that is, I don't know, because I'm not involved in that aspect of it. I would defer to the administrator or systems council. They could probably give you more information in terms of how much of a deep dive is done relative to the background of any of the principles for any of the projects that we've done. But I suspect generally, because I've seen some reports, if they're consultants on a project, that they would do, background check on the principles.
Okay, so who can answer the question?
We have done background checks before. In this case, we have not done any background check.
I understand.
Know the principles.
I understand. Okay, so you didn't do any. Okay, if you didn't do it, then you didn't do it. That's just where we're at. That's why I asked the question. So is that the end of the meeting, Chair? That's it?
Yeah, that concludes the agenda items. So I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
But I had a point of information, Chair, before we adjourn. Are we doing the policy meeting after this, or are we done for the day?
Done for the day.
Okay.
So entertain a motion for adjournment. You're mute, Mr. Coward, if you were trying to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I move that we adjourn today's special meeting.
Do I hear second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Trustee Colwood,
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey,
Yes.
Trustee Liger, absent. Trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Russell,
Yes.
Trustee Smith, absent. Chairman Barry,
Yes.
4 yes, 3 absent.
Okay, so that concludes the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, and my apologies again.